Hey guys, Emily with Prodigy Paws here. So today we are starting our mini course on dog anxiety. The first lesson is how dogs communicate. Basically, what we're going to be learning today is how your dog communicates to you. I'm also going to be talking about some mistaken translations that we make of certain dog signals as well. So to start out, how do dogs communicate? That is important to learn. That's where we want to start off. So a brief overview of how they communicate. First off, of course, they communicate primarily through body language. So this means, the way that they move their body is how they're going to send you information. So communication, that is the exchange of information. So the dog uses their body to give you that information that they're trying to communicate. The wording there is a little tricky. Of course, they do gain information through smell. They are able to, there is actually a study recently published that dogs can smell fear. They can literally smell it. So they can tell when you're anxious about a situation, and then that can also in turn give them information on how they should be behaving or acting. And of course, something that gets lost in communication here is dogs do learn to translate some human behavior and body language, but they don't understand all of it. So, because, they are dogs and they do have limited forms of communication, whereas we have words where things can be a little more explained in depth, dogs don't have that. So we need to meet them in the middle and start translating what they're saying and, learn their language and not just expect them to learn ours, because that's going to be pretty impossible. Three main types of signals that I'm going to be discussing today. Now, there are a lot more than these three types, but since this is a course on anxiety and, I wanted to make sure that we really go in depth over the most important types of signals that you'll see from a dog. So we're going to talk about stress and fear signals. These are the most commonly missed because they're a lot lighter and a lot more subtle than, say, some warning signals are going to be. So warning signals, those are going to be back off or I'm going to have to bite you. So the dogs are going to, again, try to explain to us what they're wanting us to do. Now, looking at the pictures I have up here, you're probably going to recognize some signals, others you might not. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm going to start explaining to you today. So, and of course the last one, hot, happy, calm dog, that's where we want to be. That's where we want our dog to be. We want them to be happy and we want them to be calm. We want them to be relaxed. All right, so signs of stress or fear. So signals of that. Lip licking or tongue flicking. Whale eyes. A tight mouth. Panting. Ears in a backward position. Avoiding the situation. So that's when the dog doesn't want to look at you or tries to get up and move away from the situation. And a backward stance. So they're leaning backwards. Now, I have some photo examples of this, but I just wanted to talk about these real quick. So lip licking, well, actually most of these, other than maybe the ears backwards and backward stance, are going to be very commonly missed. Now, even those two, ears back and backward stance can be missed quite easily. So, with that said, here's some examples. So, lip licking and tongue flicking. Now, there's a few more examples in here in this specific picture, but lip licking and tongue flicking is the biggest one that we see in this picture. So, of course, you know, his tongue is fully extended and it's touching his face. This is a very, very common stress signal that dogs will provide. This is usually the first go-to that they'll provide, and again, one of the most commonly missed. So included with the tongue flicking here, we also can see that the ears are in a backward position. We also see a little bit of whale eye. So what that means is that you can see the white of the eye here. So bulldogs, their features are quite different from your stereotypical dog. So they're going to have some altered communication or less forms of communication. So with each type of dog, you have to take into consideration the build that they have. So, you know, bulldogs, they might not be able to have that tight mouth that some other dogs might have. They can't really use their tail to communicate anything either. So again, just kind of take everything into consideration when you're looking at each different type of dog. Now, yawning, this is one I forgot to put on my list over there. But yawning is another one that can be a sign of stress. Again, this is one that is commonly missed, and you'll see this a lot in conjunction with the lip licking and tongue flicking. So, you notice in this picture here, now, this is just kind of off assumption. I wasn't there when this picture was taken. This is just a stock photo I found. So take this with a grain of salt, but this dog is yawning while it's being hugged. Now, there's a lot of information out there saying that dogs don't appreciate being hugged. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt, because your dog may love getting affection from you, but they might not enjoy it so much from strangers. So, you know, you gotta, again, take it with a grain of salt. So, this dog yawning, I'm going to go ahead and assume that he is in a stressed out situation. He's feeling stressed. He's feeling nervous. And so him yawning is another expression for him to tell that the people around him that he's uncomfortable. So, you know, he might not know this lady very well or so on and so forth. Now, not all yawning means that dogs are stressed. Of course, that would be silly. Dogs yawn similar to how humans yawn. So, you know, when they're tired, they're going to yawn. They just woke up, they might yawn. But if it's a situation away from that, you definitely want to take note of that. Tight-lipped mouth. Here's a perfect example of it. So you can see the corners are pretty tight back in here as well. He's being approached by a dog. I cropped this picture just so it would fit on my slide and you could get a nice good view of him here. But he is being approached by another dog rather abruptly, which is very rude in dog language. So he has tight mouth. He's got the beginning of some whale eyes. You notice his eyes are a lot wider, his eyebrows are raised, and his ears are starting to move into the backward motion. So I would say more along the lines that this dog is being surprised and it's, you know, being surprised can be kind of stressful. So this might turn into play, but it's definitely something you want to pay attention to. Now the stance on this dog, I think I do use him on the next slide too. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But so this dog, his stance is backwards. Notice the bend in this knee here, and notice that this foot is going backwards as well as this one. So he's moving backwards, his ears are back, and of course he's barking. He's somewhere in between the level of stress and fear signals to warning signals. Now this picture here, this is my personal dog. Poor girl. We were doing a photo session for, of course, my business, and she was absolutely done with it. She was not happy about the situation at all, and it was toward the end of the session. She was just done. So I want you to notice all of her signals here. She's panting. She wasn't doing much work up before this point. She was just kind of sitting there looking pretty. It was getting a little warmer, so that's why the tongue is out a little farther. But she was panting almost the whole session. All the pictures that you'll see of her tongue is sticking out. She's got whale eyes. You can see the whites of her eyes here. And then her ears are also in this backward position. So she's not happy about it. And then one thing that's easily noticeable, and see, I can tell this because I was here in this session, was the dog, Midnight here, is avoiding, one, the photographer, and two, me, who would be standing off to, what would that be, her right side or the left, off in this direction on the screen. So she was avoiding everyone. She did not want to be there. She just wanted to get back to the car and go home. So these are, again, I'm not going to be able to show you guys every single stress signal or fear signal out there. Also, dogs, based on their personality, are going to use different signals in different ways. But these are your most common and most commonly missed as well. So definitely you want to start paying attention to these. A lot of dog bites will happen because these signals are missed. Now, I wasn't able to get any video footage of stressed out dogs, so definitely, get on YouTube. There's tons and tons of other videos out there that will show you these signals in action, and so you can determine that. You can use those as a study point to determine stress signals in your own dog. So some warning signals. This is another place. This is where your dog is getting ready to bite. They're going to have more of a forward stance. Again, not in all cases. Sometimes it's a fear-based warning, so they might be leaning backwards. Hard staring. So they're staring, making direct eye contact with you. It's going to be different than, when you're petting your dog at home, making the nice cuddly eye contact, or you're getting puppy eyes. This is going to be a hard stare. This will be accompanied with other warning signals, but this is definitely something you want to be cautious of. Now, this next one, notice I put some stars next to it. Stiff or frozen. So if your dog, if a dog freezes up, so just all of a sudden, you'll see this in play, and that's not always a bad thing, but if you're getting all these other warning signals and then all of a sudden the dog freezes, be very, 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 very careful with how you proceed next. Frozen or stiff dog is a dog that's getting ready to bite almost all the time. That happens, that dog is getting ready to bite. Now again, dogs do freeze up in play scenarios, and then they'll change, they'll change up the play and so on and so forth. That's not something you have to worry about. If you know your dog is playing, don't stress if they all of a sudden freeze up and then change directions or something like that. That's something else entirely. So I'll show you a picture example again of what a stiff or frozen dog looks like. Of course, showing teeth, that's the most common signal that everybody's aware of. Being vocal is another one. Ear placement. So again, these can be forward or backwards, as, pinned to the head backwards or high alert forward. And a stiff and wagging tail. So the wagging tail is one that gets very commonly mistaken for, oh, it's a happy dog. It's not always the case. If your dog's tail is stiff and high and erect and wagging, that means that they're excited. Now that might not, if your dog is happy, their tail is going to be nice and flowy. It might be a little more relaxed and easygoing. But if your dog is excited, that tail is going to start moving. Now, excited doesn't mean a good thing in all scenarios. Excited could mean I'm wound up because I'm nervous, or I'm wound up because I see that thing over there and it looks threatening. So definitely take that with a grain of salt when you see a tail wagging. Ear placement on this one. So I wanted to show you guys a different type of dog. Again, just like the English Bulldog, this dog has a little bit different form of communication with the ears. Because it has so much hair and those ears just blend right in. I want you to notice that those ears are in fact pointing backwards. So this dog is somewhere in between the fear and stress and a warning signal. So if someone if I can talk today, if someone were to approach this dog, there is a chance that the dog could bite. Now this dog, super scary looking. This dog, of course, we have the hard stare. That's what most importantly, what I wanted you guys to notice about this. Now, I don't know if this was a trained face or not. It's very possible. But again, it's hard to tell. It's a picture. It's a still photo. If it were a video, it would be a lot easier to tell. But some people do train their dogs to make ugly faces. But this dog, what I wanted you to notice is the eyebrows and of course, the raised lips and the hard stare. This is a really good example of that hard stare. And you're going to notice some whites in the eyes here, just right around the side here. And so this very could well be, a realistic picture, but it might not be. Now this picture here, I wanted to show you guys another mix of the two because they very commonly intermingle between stress and warning. This dog has a stiff stance, and I believe he's trying to lean forward, but this chain here is preventing him from doing so. And then I also want you to notice the ears as well. So those ears are erect and forward on his head, even though he's barking, his head is pointed upward. In the picture, the whole picture, you can't see anything of what he's barking at. But this is another good example. Now this is a painting. The artist did a good job at catching a lot of details on the dog who might be giving warning signals. So in the full painting, you have a couple other dogs that he's looking at over there who are after, whatever food he's eating. So I want you to notice he's got the whites of his eyes here, a very hard stare, teeth are showing, ears are back, and he has a very stiff body language. So that's very, very important to take note of. I didn't put any comments under this one just because he's kind of the all-in-one package, save for the tail wag there. Ugh. Scary top row up there. There's the rest of the dog's face. Okay. So this dog here, this is probably the best example of a warning. This dog is probably actually going after the person taking the picture. Notice how it's kind of fuzzy. It very well could be the person was moving away from this dog, which I could not say I would blame them for. So we have the forward stance. You see the dog is approaching. 2, we have the ears that are forward. We have the hard stare. Of course, we have teeth showing. And I'm sure somewhere mixed into this, we do have lip licking occurring. So that's something else we want to remember as well. So sometimes when you see these vicious looking faces, they'll pause and flick out their tongue, because this is stressful for them. We got to remember warning signals and stress signals are commonly intermingled. Alright, so the body language that you want to see. Here we go, a loose body stance. So, just nice, relaxed, as if, you finally sit in the chair at the end of the day, and so your body just kind of relaxes. You want to see sniffing and exploring in a curious manner. Soft face. Occasionally you'll see a smile with this. Soft wagging tail. So again, coming back to that wagging tail. If it's high and stiff, then you want to get out of there. Or the dog is trying to ward you off. If it's nice, loose, and kind of easy going, that's a nice tail. That's what you want to see. That's a calm signal. And then an open mouth is another signal that your dog might be calming down. This dog here, Notice the body language. He seems pretty relaxed. The tail is lowered. He's squinting and he's sniffing in the air. This dog is, he's literally smiling here. So, you know, he looks pretty relaxed. Again, the squinting is another signal I guess I forgot to put on my list. You know, that just means they're kind of resting it out. This one, I love this picture. He's got the puppy eyes working too. He's got that nice soft face. You notice his mouth is open. You do see some whites in the eyes here, but that's not because of stress. That's just the way that that breed of dog is their eyes are just really droopy. And then this is my dog Chewy. This is the other one. He's actually laying by my feet right now. He was super happy about the photo session that we did, and this was him trying to cool off. And so you just notice, you know, again, squinting, his mouth is open, he's got the smile and the super soft body language as well. And of course, we had to include a picture of a golden retriever. Of course, we got the smile, we got some soft eyes. Whoop. Where'd it go? There it is. Soft stance as well. You notice he's sitting, just kind of chilling in the open mouth. All right, so after reviewing all those, I want you guys to, I'm going to give you a second to identify this dog's body language. So definitely drop it in the comments what you think dog number 1, what you think his body language is. Hope you guys can't hear that. I got neighbors outside. All right. Dog number 2. Again, what do you think this dog is displaying? And dog number 3. All right. So dog number 1. Dog number 1 is displaying some stress. Now he's definitely on the lower end of the stress meter here, but you notice that he has a tight corner of the mouth here. Now his mouth is open, so that would show us that he's got some calm signals as well. And his ears for this type of dog appear pretty relaxed. Now he's giving a stare. It's hard to tell again 100%, but I would be okay with approaching this dog. Unless he changed his body language to something else, then I would be totally okay with approaching this dog. He seems nice and calm and more curious about what's going on than anything. This dog is pretty obvious going here. Some signals we notice about him is ears backwards, whites of eyes, eyebrows raised, tight mouth, teeth showing. And again, it's a stiff stance too. If it's harder to see it since it's kind of cropped weird, but definitely a stiff stance and maybe some avoidance in here, depending on if there's something else over here he's looking at. It could be a hard stare. Again, it's a photo. It's a little harder to tell what's going on. But it's either avoidance or a hard stare. Definitely one of the two. And this dog, very clear that he's calm, he's happy, he's got open mouth smile, and you can see that his eyes are starting to squint, and he's sniffing the air. His ears are back, but I would say that's more out of curiosity than anything. All right, so big question here. Can you identify these signals in your dog? If you know, I'm going to have a worksheet provided for you guys. I'll leave the link in the description here. So be sure you can identify these signals in your own dog. This is very good to brush up on your dog language. So, you know, take note of when your dog is lip licking, when they have whale eyes. Every dog is going to show these at some point. You know, your dog might not get cleared a warning signal, but definitely note the stress signals. That's the most important thing I want you to notice. What stresses your dog out? And then we're going to start going over this in the next session as well. So with that said, If you want to continue this free course, I'm going to have 2 more videos. We're going to be talking about a couple of things. One, of course, what is dog anxiety? How to determine. Let me make sure I'm saying this right here. Yeah, it's symptoms of dog anxiety, and where's the button? Symptoms of dog anxiety. I'll just leave it like this. So we're going to be talking about the symptoms, and then we're going to move on to discuss management versus recovery. So that's going to lead up to my online course about recovering from anxiety. So of course, we want to be able to see the symptoms of anxiety on our dog, and then be able to tell if we're managing or helping our dog recover. Now, a lot of the times management leads to recovery, or you have to be able to manage your dog before you can recover. Now, there's definitely steps to both, but we'll be talking about that more in depth in the next couple of videos. So again, if you guys want to sign up, I'm going to put this link in the description as well. It's prodigypaws.com/free-courses. That is where you sign up to receive the next 2 videos. I will not be posting them publicly, but you will have to sign up to get those. So I really hope you guys sign up and choose to continue the course. I feel this is some really, really good, useful information for you guys. Even if your dog isn't anxious, I think I strongly believe that it's very important for you guys to tune into that. So without further ado, I'll let you guys out of here, and I hope you have a good time in identifying your dog's stress signals. All right, guys. See you next time.